Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation, and as you exhale, just close your eyes and feel yourself drifting into a deep, deep sleep. Continuing to breathe in that feeling of calm and relaxation, and noticing that tension, stress, or any worries start to leave your body in your outward breath, taking you deeper and deeper relaxed with each and every breath. That's it. As you listen to my voice, feel your body on wherever you're sitting or resting right now. Notice the feeling of your body and whatever it's touching. Notice the feeling that when you breathe in through your nose, you can feel your chest or your diaphragm rise, and as you exhale, just notice that your body sinks deeper into the chair, sofa, or bed. That's it, deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you are in a palace in ancient Greece. I want you to imagine that you are on the top floor of the palace, and there is a large spiral staircase made of marble that leads down into the reception. Perhaps you can notice that there is gold trim on the banister of the staircase. You can see the impressive decorations around the palace. But just notice that you are on the top of the staircase, and you will walk down the staircase as I count downwards from 10 to 1. And with each descending number, your body will become deeper relaxed. Your body will become deeper relaxed. You will notice that muscles relax more and more, and with every breath and every heartbeat, you will feel like you're going deeper and deeper into a state of pleasant relaxation. You are at the top of the staircase, and let's count down now as you start taking steps down the staircase. 10, taking that first step down this ancient Greek palatial staircase. That's it, feeling yourself go 10% deeper and deeper relaxed. 9, another step down the staircase, perhaps imagining what it would feel like for your feet to tread on the marble stairs. That's it. 8, another 10% deeper and deeper relaxed. That's it. 7, perhaps you can imagine your hand feeling the banister, and notice your whole body is either getting heavier or lighter, more floaty, or feeling more deeply relaxed with each step down the marble staircase. 7, and then 6, deeper and deeper relaxed. 5, halfway down the staircase now, in this palace in ancient Greece. That's it. 5, and then 4, deeper and deeper relaxed. That's it. Perhaps you can even notice the bright Greek sun, the blue skies, shining light in through a nearby window. 3, down the staircase again, deeper and deeper relaxed. 2, and 1, 0 now. Arriving at the base, the very bottom of the staircase, feeling so deeply, deeply relaxed. And I want you to imagine that somewhere nearby is a very, very ancient Greek sofa, fit for a king. And I want you to imagine that you feel so relaxed at the bottom of this staircase that you want to make yourself comfortable on this ancient Greek sofa. And you do. Perhaps you can imagine eating a grape or two and then lying on the sofa, feeling comfortably relaxed. Breathing in a feeling of calm and relaxation, and as you exhale, noticing you become sleepier and sleepier with each and every outward breath. That's it. I will count down from 5 to 1, and you will imagine that you are a king falling asleep on an ancient Greek sofa in a palace there in ancient Greece. 5, feeling sleepy. 4, drifting off now, feeling a desire to yawn. 3, feeling your eyelids getting heavier and heavier. And 2, and then 1, just imagine drifting off into a deep, deep sleep. And in this sleep, your imagination can be more vivid, more realistic than it can in a waking state. And imagine that you are still in the kingdom. This time you are dreaming that you are the ruler of an ancient Greek kingdom. And people within your kingdom, perhaps guards, discover a drunk old man, and they bring the drunk old man for your attention. But upon seeing the drunk old man, you realize that this is a very wise, perhaps even magical man. Something of power and magic exists within this man. Instead of any consequences or punishment for this old drunk man, instead, you show him hospitality. For perhaps 10 days, you allow him to bathe in the finest baths of the palace. You give him the finest food, the finest wine. And at the end of 10 days, this wise old man is very grateful for your hospitality. And I want you to imagine that this wise old man grants you a wish. And I want you to imagine that you request an unusual wish. You desire that anything that you touch will turn into solid gold. The old wise man accepts the wish, and he wishes you farewell and goes back into a village within your large kingdom. And you test it out. To begin with, perhaps you go into one of your many gardens and simply pick up a twig off the floor. And immediately you notice that the entire twig that was worthless before suddenly transforms into solid gold. You try it with something else. You pick up a flower, a rose perhaps, and right before your eyes, you can't believe it. The rose and the stem and all the thorns turn into gleaming, shiny gold. You try it with many things that were worthless before. You touch them, perhaps a pebble or a rock, and right before your eyes, just imagine that pebble or rock turning into solid gold. And even then, in ancient Greece, gold was a valuable commodity. And the fact that you had this gift, this Midas touch of turning worthless things into gold, made you effectively an alchemist, turning what is worthless into something of value. And I want you to imagine how excited you feel being able to create infinite wealth at your fingertips. I want you to explore perhaps things in your kingdom. Maybe you see something as simple as an apple. You touch the apple, and what was just a piece of fruit now turns into a very precious object made of solid gold. You try it with everything. You touch the very sofa that you can imagine that perhaps you've slept on before, and it turns into solid gold worth incredible amounts. And for the next few days, you are so excited. everything you touch turns to gold. But then you notice that you've got lost in so much excitement that you've been forgetting to eat or drink. And then you simply try and pour yourself a glass of water, but the moment the water touches your lips, your mouth, your tongue, all of the water turns into solid gold. You try and eat something, perhaps an apple, and again, the same thing that happened to the previous apple happens again. It turns into solid gold. And you start to panic. What if everything you touch turns to gold? You would simply die of thirst or hunger very, very soon. So, you decide to track down that wise old man and ask permission that he change you back how you were before. And, luckily, the wise old man grants your wish. And he asks you to bathe in a river that leads to northern Turkey, and you do that. And the water washes away what you thought was a blessing, but perhaps was a curse. And from that point onwards, you decide that being able to have instant wealth without creating value is not a blessing, but perhaps a curse. Many people that were born into inherited wealth, where they didn't have to create value, build businesses, add something to the world to acquire their wealth. They were just given instant wealth simply by being born that way. In many cases, don't really value money. And you now acknowledge that being able to create wealth is a blessing if it is linked to creating value for other people. And I want you to think there, as a king in that kingdom, imagining a future, perhaps far into the future, of someone that you admire that can simply create opportunities wherever they go. Maybe they're exceptional at coming up with ideas to make businesses, or solve problems, or create art or inventions that really make a difference in the world. I want you to think of someone that, metaphorically speaking, has the Midas touch, that if they attempt to build a business, that business does very well. If they start investing in a particular area, they seem to do well in that area of business. Whatever they put their hand to, generally they achieve success. And I want you to imagine that person vividly, and imagine walking into that person so you get to be them for a while. And I want you to feel that whatever they believe about new opportunities, whatever their thoughts are about creating new ideas, new businesses, or new solutions to old problems, is now accessible to you. I want you to feel that the real Midas touch, the ability to create something from nothing, to create wealth by giving value in the world, now belongs to you. And I want you to think about what kind of future in the real world you could create by having the real Midas touch. What business ideas could you come up with? What incredible solution can solve an ancient problem? And I want you to think about what you would do if you could create as much wealth as you would want, simply because you can do something that creates value for other people. What new business would you create? What new invention would you invent? What new piece of literature or art would you create that the world would want? Imagine that you have the Midas touch, that you can create as much wealth as you would want in the world, not by taking, but by giving incredible experiences, incredible value, solutions where previously there were problems, amazing experiences where before there was just transactions. Imagine that you are unlocking the Midas touch within you, that the real Midas touch is in solving problems and creating value. That is now unlocked within you. And imagine that you're no longer dreaming about someone in the future. Imagine there you are, just a king in an ancient kingdom having a dream about someone in the future. And then you realize that this itself is just a dream, that there was no old wise man giving you secret powers. Perhaps this is just a dream of a king that's fallen asleep there on a sofa. And as you start to wake up from that sleep, that nap on that sofa, and you find yourself in an ancient palace, ruling a large kingdom. As a king, you decide then and there that your true power is about creating value for other people, not taking value from what's around. I want you to get a sense that a king within a kingdom has so much influence that they are able to create value for the people in the kingdom. And then you realize that this is just a thought within a thought, and actually you are listening to my voice exactly where you are right now. And you are not an ancient king in an ancient Greek kingdom. You are you living in your world, in your time. And imagine that the same principles of creating value for others, having the real Midas touch, where any opportunity that you decide to commit to, you are highly confident that you will make that opportunity successful, that you will have a desire to be wealthy, not as a result of good fortune or luck. You will have a desire to become wealthy directly proportionate to the value that you create in the world. And that desire to create the value is aligned with your special talents, passions, and area of knowledge or expertise. Essentially, you get to become rich and wealthy by doing what you're good at, doing what you love, and doing the kind of things that people need. And so, just imagine what that would be like over the next few weeks, months, and years. How can you become wealthier beyond your imagination? You will imagine what it would be like to have untold wealth that comes not by luck, by chance. There will be no dreams of winning lotteries or inheritance. You will start thinking more and more about what problems you can solve, what incredible experiences you can give, and how to move from the idea of being an employee, which is where you make money for other people, to that of an investor or business owner, where, because you are taking your thoughts and ideas and creating something of value, an asset for you that impacts other people, you have the ability to create wealth, build wealth, and expand wealth, giving you the real life Midas touch. In a few moments' time, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling highly resourceful, feeling that your focus and ideas about money have changed, that through your own creativity, intelligence, and resourcefulness, you can create as much money and wealth as you desire, not by thinking about you, but by thinking about the other people in the world that you can help or serve or create value for. You will awaken that creative part that will seek to solve problems, and the income and wealth that will surely follow will be proportionate to the impact that you have during your lifetime. You will awaken full of optimism and looking forward to a wealthy, abundant future. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.